This is Brett with New News Today, and here we are, NEO DevCon 2019, with the NeoResearch boys. How you guys doing?
Fine. Nice to meet you, Ed.
Yeah, finally nice to meet you in the flesh. It's been a while, huh?
Yeah.
So, you guys have been doing a lot of work on the core protocol lately. A lot of big changes coming through, optimizing DBFT. You want to talk us through some of the changes that are coming?
Yes. First of all, it's much a pleasure to be here. And I guess the one who can say better about these changes is Vitor, our expert in DBFT.
No, not so expert as my brother. First of all, talking about optimization, I need to thank my brother because during our career, since I was a student in my undergraduation, my brother has been teaching me about optimization. And it's funny how the world has a path of coincidence that we reach now, this place we are now, due to this previous knowledge that has been passing to me. So optimization that we have been mostly working on is related to meta heuristics and combinatorial optimization problems. But in terms of consensus right now, it would be related to optimization if we start to think about like quantum security, for example, lattice problems, that nowadays people start to wonder about what is quantum safety and in this end, but just talking about our background. But the current optimizations that are going on the consensus is a trade-off. Because some people from the literature, from the academic papers, academic works that has been published, they don't like weak synchrony. Weak synchrony and partially synchrony models. That's something has in the core of the DBFT. But on the same time, there are some other ones that said in other papers that it's impossible to design a fully asynchronous consensus. This is a concept of multi-agent system. So a fully asynchronous consensus, at the deep of it, it has some timer, because we always have an assumption that we cannot wait infinite for some message. So what we are currently working now on NEO is, first of all, finish the final implementation of the commit phase. But look, the commit phase is something very, very, very interesting, because in NEO we were very ambitious about block finality. Most of the works in the literature, they talk about a consensus, and we have block finality, but not in the level of the consensus. We have block finality in the node levels. So in NEO we want blocks that depart from the consensus already with finality. So for that we need a commit phase very strong and well designed, that signatures are not exposed at any time. So this is the trick. And furthermore, the recover. So we can have like recover mechanisms that can really recover the nodes in very different faults, like hardware faults, software faults, and this breaks what I mentioned before. That's not break it completely, but I mean, it breaks in the sense that weak synchrony becomes something even more weak, because we have a system now that really does not depend on synchrony, because it's recovered all the time. So the idea now is to get this kind of complex recovery mechanism that can really recover the nodes in different situations. So I talk too much, Ed.
That's a good answer.
That's
a great answer.
But we've been talking a lot by message. So I saw you, I saw the news today, so I become really happy, and I would like to explain. And by the way, thanks for all the work that you have been doing to the community. It's really precious work.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Well, we got a lot. I've actually been watching the GitHub lately, and your master Yoda, Eric Zhang, has been doing a lot of work with Jeff on the regeneration strategy. Is that something that we're going to see in 2.9.5?
One thing that I would say that I really miss Eric here, cara. I really miss, from the deep of my heart, cara. Porque he's like an example of someone that is humility and helps everybody and is almost never wrong. All the time he says, you see that he thinks a lot about saying something to you. So he's a guy with a really big heart. So I really miss his presence here in the DevCon, and I've been learning a lot with him. He's a really master Yoda.
Cool. So future of DBFT, we've kind of gone over that now, but one of the big topics over here at NEO DevCon is this idea about the layer 2 scaling solutions. So this is going to be the next step on top of DBFT, making use of that with the state channels. So comparing sharding and state channels, obviously NEO is leaning towards the layer 2 state channels, but why is that?
Well, from the beginning, the current idea was to support consensus that could handle the promise of 100K TPS. I guess scaling solutions will appear naturally also because we cannot block like people from creating state channels, because these can be from the beginning. Since last year, Dahonfei already presented all the time. Oh, we don't need these necessary scaling solutions like this because all blockchains can do it. So it's not like a fundamental stone. But yeah, people can build, and I guess that's fine.
Cool. So aside from the core, what else have you guys been working on? You got Neo Compiler Eco. I heard you've been thinking about adding some like JavaScript, TypeScript support with Neo 1. Is that something that you're going to have in the pipeline soon?
Yes. First of all, congratulations to Neo 1 team also. Really nice work, nice platform. And I guess the compiler is nearly ready, or perhaps ready for use. And we are already talking to the guys to put it in our platform too, because we support, many of you know, we support many compilers from many languages. And our idea is to support JavaScript too and TypeScript. And I think it's also very important because of other feature we've been developing, which is the SMACO. It is the Smart Account Composer that can be used to create advanced account types, for example, multisig, special time lock features. And if it's done, right now it's done on C#, but if it's done on JavaScript, it will be much easier to integrate, for example, in wallets. For example, Neon wallet or any other wallet, you can put like, just click and people will generate a special account that you want without needing to code. You can just specify on JSON, for example.
It's a powerful tool.
Yeah.
So what's the ambition for SMACO then? Are you guys hoping that that's going to be used by a lot of people to create custom accounts then?
Yeah,
for industrial applications.
Surely. Because as developer, we write everything from scratch, and that's fine. But we know that most people just want, even us, for example, we have our developer side when we want to build like everything from bytecode, but there are days that we are just users. Like I want to handle my account, and when we are users, we notice like this is really missing, because as a user we know some things are missing. So this is nice. So these features from this new one, TypeScript support, is very important for user in general, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Do you guys want to plug?
So quick.
I mean, we can carry on if you guys want to talk a little bit more about what you've got going on. I know you've got a presentation tomorrow about cryptography. You could give us a little sneak peek of what to expect for that.
Oh, it will be a good presentation.
Oh. Is that all you're going to tell us?
One thing.
It can break local realism. It can break.
One surprise. It will include a theater.
A theater?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, we have to wait for day 2 for that. So you guys, where can people find all your work? NeoResearch, you got the website. So what else have you got?
Yeah.
Just the website mostly, so neoresearch.io.
And the GitHub, no?
The GitHub as well. And you welcome people to come ahead and join and contribute to your projects too.
Everyone is very welcome to join. As a spirit of Neo, is all open source code. So we search mostly for academic contribution, long-term visions. That's because we both has this background of like, my brother is like professor in Rio de Janeiro, so we have this, and I also come from the university. Last year I has been acting as a postdoc in the University of Rio de Janeiro as well, in the Universidade Federal Fluminense. So we have this background of like science. We really believe in science. So that's why we came to Neo, basically, when we were running at the beach around like 2016, we were running at the beach and we were wondering about publications, about how to publish papers, because at the end I published a lot of papers. I finished my PhD with 2 years, so without attending the master. So at that point I published like papers in high-level journals. But at the end, what changed in my life? Nothing. It doesn't mean nothing, Ed. At the end, it doesn't mean if I publish in a good paper or not. So we saw science moving to something that becomes like business. And I think it has some root in transparency. So we came across this when running at the beach and talking about how science could be more transparent. And I think you can give a...
Yeah, that was the spirit that brought us to NEO, like how to build a transparent science platform, which is sidechain, our DApp, that is still being built. But the idea is to allow like peer review, fully transparent, which is nowadays very centralized in big publishers, which is not the ideal for science, like for transparent science.
So you guys are focusing on the NEO protocol now, but when do you think you're going to start making real headway on sidechain then?
But actually, sidechain is like a side project that we believe in the future of science, as everybody, as scientists. But our real root case now is about combinatorial optimization. That's something that dates our roots of like background studying in the last year, publishing papers. So our main focus is a project called CombView.
Yeah, with people we'll know in a few months too. So
okay, good to know.
Good. You will know.
I'm sure I'll be one of the first to find out now. So thank you so much for joining us again, guys.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Dylan. And thank everybody from Neo News today for the great job again.
Absolutely. So if you want to catch the rest of our material, you can go onto the Twitter, the YouTube page, neonewstoday.com, the website. We'll have more content from DevCon 2019. Thanks again, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.